Hope you enjoy listening to the story. On the day of the university entrance exam that year, I accidentally used a pen that lost ink. When I handed in my paper, the paper was completely blank. My parents and teachers weren't worried at all. Only a poor student ran up and angrily scolded me for being so careless. In my previous life, during the university entrance exam, that girl handed in her paper 10 minutes before me, and then cried and accused me. "Sister Tahan, please stop copying my paper. That's not fair to others." The teacher immediately took back my test paper, but then discovered that my answers were exactly the same as hers. I was about to explain when my brother, the exam supervisor, and his fiancée rushed over and scolded me. "Suhan, not only did he cheat when he was in school, but he also dared to do the same when taking the university entrance exam." In the end, I was expelled from school and imprisoned for 3 years, while that poor student relied on her 730 points to get into the Tsinghua University, becoming a famous young genius overnight. After being released from prison, I still did not give up looking for evidence to clear my name, but in the end I was hit and killed by a car. When I opened my eyes, I was back before the university entrance exam, the end of grade 12, wishing everyone good luck on the exam and teaching first. Upon hearing the homeroom teacher's wishes, the whole class exploded in excitement. Liang Xian patted me on the shoulder. "Sister Suhan, which school are you planning to choose? With your results, the Tsinghua or the Peking University exams would be easy. I'm so jealous." Hearing that familiar sentence, my whole body trembled. I glanced at the wall clock and immediately realized that I had been reborn. Back to exactly 2 days before the university entrance exam. In my previous life, when I had just finished my test and was about to review it, Liang Xian, who was sitting in front of me, suddenly handed in her paper early, then turned around, her eyes red, and pointed at me. "Sister Suhan, this time I really can't let you copy anymore. That's unfair to others." Before I could react, the invigilator came over and snatched my test paper away, his face instantly turning cold. Cheating on college entrance exams is illegal. I stopped and looked up. The answers on my paper and hers were exactly the same word for word. I took out my scratch paper and my normal report card to explain that my grades were always better than Liang Xian's. I had no reason to copy. A few classmates also spoke up to defend me. But my brother, who was the supervisor, and my fiancé came running over, their faces stern as they scolded me. "Suhan, it's okay for you to bully Han Han and force her to do poorly on the test, but now that it's the college entrance exam, you still dare to cheat so blatantly." Because of their accusations, everyone believed it was true and criticized me for cheating. The school immediately announced my expulsion, and I was arrested by the police and imprisoned for 3 years for cheating. As for Luang Han, she scored 730 points, becoming a famous young genius on social media. After being released from prison, I was not satisfied and continued to search for evidence, then was hit by a car and died. Before she died, I saw Luang Han laughing and provoking me in the crowd. Unable to stand, my stomach hit the edge of the table hard. It hurt so much that I took a deep breath. "Suhan, what are you staring at? Didn't you hear what Han Han said?" I turned around and saw my brother Talai and my fiancé Zhang Tu standing behind me, looking at me with eyes full of annoyance. Luang Han's eyes were red and her face was gloomy. "It was my fault. It was understandable that Tahan didn't like me. You two don't blame her." Suli immediately picked up the book on the table and hit me hard on the head. "Suhan, why are you so cruel, always bullying Han Han?" After about 2 hours, Zhang Zi's eyes were filled with hatred. "Suhan, if you don't change that bad nature, we will cancel the engagement. The Zhang family is strict and will never allow a cruel person like you to enter their doors. In my previous life, I thought everything was my fault, so my brother and fiancé didn't like me. I always felt guilty towards Liang Xian and tried my best to please her. But now, all that was left in me was overwhelming hatred towards them. I suppressed the pain in my entire body, grabbed the 2 books on the table with my left hand, and threw them straight at their faces without hesitation. If my eyes were useless, I would donate them. If my brain was useless, I would give it to the dogs." Su Lai and Jiang Tu's eyes widened, looking at me in surprise. "Suhan, are you crazy? Do you know what you're doing?" I pulled the table next to me and kicked it hard to block it between me and them, to prevent them from getting physical. I turned to look at Han's back and laughed coldly. "Knowing that no one likes you, don't cling to me. If you like to humiliate yourself, go find someone else. I don't mind giving you a few slaps. After saying that, I picked up my bag and turned to leave. I got into the car that the driver came to pick me up. But before I could sit still, the car door was suddenly pulled open. I was pulled to the ground and fell hard on my temple. The pain was so bad that I had to gasp for air. My palms and knees were scratched and bleeding. Su Li and Jiang pulled Hans back into the car. Su-han, the college entrance exam is coming up, and you said such cruel words, intentionally hurting Han. If she fails the exam because of you, I will never forgive her. Walk home today and think carefully. With a bang, the car door slammed shut, and the car sped away. It was 40 degrees out, and it would take at least 2 hours to walk home. I probably wouldn't have made it halfway before I collapsed. I staggered to my feet, walked to the convenience store near the school gate, and borrowed the owner's phone. It was mid-afternoon, my head was pounding and I felt nauseous. Just as I was about to collapse, I saw my parents running towards me. Mom hugged me, my body immediately went limp and I passed out. I was carried into the car. The cold air in the car helped ease my pain a bit. Mom and Dad looked at me worriedly. Han, what happened? Didn't the driver come to pick you up? Looking at my parents' worried faces, my nose stung, my feelings suddenly welled up, and tears flowed like a stream. I told them everything. How Talai attacked me, pushed me out of the car and forced me to walk home. After hearing that, my parents' faces darkened. Talai treated her like that again because of an outsider. Don't worry, your parents will teach her a lesson. I nodded slightly. After returning home, my parents contacted the family doctor to check my health. After the examination, I went downstairs to eat. At the dining table, I sat next to my parents while Talai and Luang Han sat opposite. Luang Han stood up and opened her mouth to explain. Uncle, my house is very far from the countryside, and it is not convenient to travel to the exam location, so Talai asked me to stay at his house for a while. I hope you don't mind. Hearing the same words as in my previous life, I coldly glanced at her. I disagree. I do mind. Mom and Dad, the exam is coming up. If I have to see the person I hate every day, how can I have a calm mind to study? Chapter 3. As soon as I finished speaking, Su Li slammed her hand on the table. Su-han, why are you so cruel? You are deliberately trying to prevent Han from taking the university entrance exam, right? I am truly speechless. Just because I did not let her stay with me, I ended up blocking her from taking the university entrance exam. You are really good at turning black into white. Suddenly, Luang Han knelt down in front of me and my parents. Uncle, I beg you to, I worked very hard to get into high school. If I don't pass the university entrance exam this time, my parents will marry me off to exchange the dowry for my brother to get married. My whole life is over. My parents were shocked and quickly stood up to help her. But Luang Han did not budge and firmly said if she could not take the exam, there would be no hope left in her life. It would be better to just die. Talai looked at me. Su-han, are you going to force Han to death to be satisfied? My father couldn't take it anymore and kicked Su Lai. How are you talking to your sister? I looked at my brother's hateful eyes and suddenly reached out to grab my parents' hands. Mom and Dad, then let her stay at our house for a few days, just like raising another dog. Mom looked at me, her eyes filled with pity. Han, you don't need to feel wronged. This is your house. If you don't want to, no one can come in. There are plenty of hotels out there, Mom. I don't believe there's no place to stay. At worst, we'll pay her rent. I shook my head and held Mom's hand. Mom, it's okay. If she goes out to rent something and something happens and comes back to blame our family, it will affect the company's reputation. My mother sighed, then turned to my brother with a stern warning. After the university entrance exam, she must leave this place immediately. Also, don't do anything to upset Han. Otherwise, pack up and leave the house. Luang Han glanced smugly. What thanks, I definitely won't make Han angry. I narrowed my eyes and doubts began to form in my heart. In my previous life, my exam papers and Liang Xian's were exactly the same, and I never understood why. But I felt that her insistence on staying at my house before the exam must have something to do with it. Her attitude just now made me believe that it was true. In the following days, Luang Han behaved very well, not playing any tricks. She also often brought me water and made me tea so that I could study with peace of mind. Other than that, I didn't notice anything unusual. The night before the exam, when I was packing my things, Liang Xian walked in. Sister Su-han, this is the pen I bought specifically for the college entrance exam. I heard that if you use it, you will have good luck and pass exams easily. After saying that, she put the pen on the table and left. I looked at the pen. It was exactly the same as the one in my previous life. Could it be that the problem was with this pen? Just in case, I immediately threw the pen in the trash. The next morning, the driver took Liang Xian and I to the exam site. Everything went smoothly until I entered the exam room. As soon as I started writing the test, I realized that the pen in my hand was not the one I had prepared, but the one Luang Han had given me yesterday. In my pencil case, there was only this pen and a few tubes of ink. Luang Han turned her head slightly, looking at me with a provocative and confident gaze. I was immediately sure that there was a problem with the pen. The first day of the exam ended. Luang Han happily ran to pull my hand. "Sister to Han, how did you do on your test?" I gently pressed my lips. "It's fine. I'm probably going to congratulate you on being the city's top student." Luang Han's eyes lit up with a rosy glow. "Sister Su Han is really good." The second day of the exam arrived quickly. After finishing the last exam, I had just finished writing the last big question when Liang Xian suddenly stood up, walked quickly towards the invigilator and handed in her paper. Immediately after that, she turned back to me, choking with accusation. "Sister to Han, you copied my paper so many times. You won't even forgive me for the university entrance exam? That's not fair to others." The supervisor immediately came over to grab my paper, but I quickly pressed it down. I hadn't finished it yet and I wasn't planning on handing it in yet. The supervisor said, "Classmate, someone accused you of cheating." I ordered him to look around. "So what? Is there any evidence? Did you see me cheat with your own eyes? Are you trying to sabotage my university entrance exam based on just one person's words?" Just then the door was pushed open. Su Lai and Jiang Zi walked in. Su Lai raised her hand and slapped me straight in the face, while Jiang Zi scolded me in disappointment. "Su Han, you've cheated so many times, and we still tried to be tolerant and give you a chance to correct your mistakes. But you still don't know how to repent, and even dare to cheat on the college entrance exam." I tried to hold the test paper tightly, watching Jiang Zi hold back the pain on his face, looking at the two of them quietly. "Without evidence, what right do you have to say that I cheated?" At this moment, the person in charge of the exam walked in. "This is the college entrance exam. What are you guys doing?" Su Li and Jiang Zi immediately spoke up. There was someone cheating here, and they still refused to admit it. I shook my head. "I didn't do anything." "The person in charge of you, do you have any evidence? Did the supervisor see it?" The supervisor shook his head. Jiang Zi immediately said, "Just compare their test papers and you will know." I let go, let the person in charge of the test take out my test paper. The supervisor brought Liang Xian's test paper. The two test papers were placed side by side. Everyone was stunned. Su Li and Jiang Zi exclaimed in surprise. "Su Han, why did the answer on your paper disappear?" Right after that, the supervisor pointed at Liang Xian's paper and shouted, "Why is this student's paper so blank?" I just collected the paper and I saw that there were words clearly there. Liang Xian rushed over, snatched the test paper back, then turned to stare at me. "Su Han, what did you do? Why did my answer sheet disappear?" I shrugged innocently. "Liang Xian, from beginning to end, I never touched your test paper. What does this have to do with me?" Liang Xian pursed her lips, as if she wanted to explain something but couldn't say anything. Jiang Zi stood in front of her, looking at me coldly. "Su Han, the answers on your paper disappeared. You must have done something wrong." I picked up the pen on the table to take a look, then pretended to be shocked and covered my mouth. Oh my God, when I took the pen refill at home, I must have mistaken it for a self-inking pen refill. This type will automatically disappear after an hour and a half. Luang Han immediately blushed with anger and rushed forward to push me. "Tahan, are you crazy? Such an important university entrance exam and you used a pen to fly." I instinctively raised my hand and slapped her straight in the face. "What pen do I use that has anything to do with you? I didn't tell you to use it?" Then I turned to the teachers and asked, "Is using a pen with ink in the exam considered cheating?" The invigilator shook his head. "It's not cheating, but the exam results will be invalidated." I hummed and nodded as if it was nothing important. It was fine as long as there was no cheating. If the result didn't count, it was my own business. Then I turned to look straight at Luang Han and questioned, "Luang Han, why is your test paper also blank? Did you accidentally use a pen to make the ink fly? Luong Han's face turned pale, extremely confused. I looked at the invigilator. Teachers, if a blank exam paper can't prove anything, then it can prove that there is a high-quality camera installed. Just extract the recording and the truth can be clarified. If I didn't cheat, I demand that those who framed me and obstructed my exam be punished. I banged on the table and screamed, Su-han, haven't you lied enough? Using a pen to write an exam, aren't you ashamed of your parents' hard work in raising you? I looked at him with cold eyes, then swung the test paper and threw it straight at his face. Sulai, what right do you have to talk to me? Because of an outsider, you accused me of cheating on the exam, wanting to ruin my whole life. You should think about how to talk to your parents. Just then, the bell signaling the end of the exam rang. The person in charge turned cold. We will extract the camera. If there is no cheating, the results will be announced as usual. If there is, not only will the exam be cancelled, but there will also be legal responsibility. After being taken out of the exam room, I breathed a sigh of relief. This time I finally escaped the miserable fate of my previous life. I was standing in front of the exam site gate when Liang Xian suddenly rushed over. She was forced to kneel down in front of me, kowtowing several times until I bled. Her face covered in tears, she cried and said, Tahan, I beg you, please spare me. You can't deliberately change the pen and ink to hurt me just because I won't let you copy my notes. You're ruining my life. Sister Tahan, your family is rich, even if you fail the exam it doesn't matter. But I'm not like you. This is my only path. Liang Xian's words immediately made everyone around me pay attention. When taking the university entrance exam, he changed the pen to a flying ink pen, causing people to fail. How could someone be so cruel? 5 years ago, Liang Xian was a student at our school. Her family was poor. Her parents favored boys over girls. If she fails the university entrance exam, she will be forced to marry someone else in exchange for a dowry. Hearing about Liang Xian's situation, everyone's eyes looking at me immediately became full of hatred. She is truly a spoiled rich kid. I was not better at studying than anyone else, so I was jealous of poor students who were good at studying and wanted to put others down. In no time, books, fresh flowers, drinks, and all sorts of things were thrown at me. What an immoral, evil-hearted person. How dare he take the university entrance exam? What a bastard. You were just born in the right family and yet you bully us poor people. Your parents must be bad too, they must have made their money illegally. I kicked Luong Han hard. Luong Han, you falsely accused me of cheating in the exam, then blamed me for stealing your pen. From start to finish, you never provided any evidence. Then I looked at the group of people who had finished beating me, took out my phone and dialed 110. Just based on her 2 words, you guys quickly accused me, not giving me a chance to explain. Liang Xian's eyes were red, choking. Su-han, before the exam, I intentionally let you stay at my house. I prepared all the exam materials. If it wasn't you, who else would come here? I already found it strange, you clearly hated me before. Why are you suddenly so kind as to let me stay? It turns out that you're afraid that we, commoners, will pass the university entrance exam better than those rich kids, so you want to stop us, right? Suli also ran over, pulled Liang Xian up, blocked her, then turned to speak to the crowd. I'm Su-han's older brother, I can testify. When Han Xian took the exam, she said she was looking for something. I didn't expect to do such a bad thing. Jiangzi also stepped forward, looking at me coldly. I am Su-han's fiancé, but I can't cover up for feelings. Before the exam, Su-han told me that he wanted to ruin Han-han's exam. I advised her several times. When she invited Han-han to stay at her house, I thought she had changed, but it turned out that it was all a plan to swap the flying ink pens to ruin Han-han's exam results. When the crowd heard that it was my brother and fiancé, they immediately believed it. Su-han, even my own brother and my fiancé stood up to accuse me. What else do I have to say? I looked at their angry eyes, they could rise up and hit me at any moment. My heart started to panic. Those were just their words. I have never done anything. Before, it was Luong Han who asked to stay at my house. Someone laughed and poured milk tea straight at my face. Still so stubborn. If she was truly innocent, why would her brother and fiancé side with an outsider to expose her? I wiped my face, suppressed my anger and looked straight into the bowl in Jiang Tuesday. Why not? What if they were the traitors who wanted to kill me because of an outsider? I took out my phone and showed everyone more than a dozen transcripts taken from the school system. Chapter 6. I wanted to sabotage Liang Xian's exams. What did she have that was worth me spending so much effort on? During her 12th grade year, she had ranked lowest in the mock exams, with a total score that was not even half of mine. With such a record, what should I do? Or should I stop her from taking the entrance exam to a vocational technical school? Everyone started to waver. Some of her classmates also came forward to testify. I knew clearly that Su Han was always at the top of the school's class while Liang Xian was almost always at the bottom. It was said that she was admitted to this elite class because Su Han suggested it to the teacher. There was really no reason for Su Han to harm her. The crowd began to wake up. The look in her eyes changed from anger to suspicion and then to resentment towards Luang Han. Some people were so angry that Luang Han fell to the ground. We were kind enough to defend her, but we were deceived by her. Su Lai grabbed my phone and threw it on the ground. After a moment, the phone shattered into pieces. Su Han, those transcripts were fake. You always copy Han Han's work, ask her to help you cheat, then force her to do low-quality work so you can get high scores. Now that she won't help you anymore, you take revenge by stealing her pen. I snorted and laughed contemptuously, then raised my hand and slapped Talai hard. Talai, you are so disgusting. You turn black into white and frame me over and over again. But do you think everyone is stupid? After so many mock tests, so many teachers and surveillance cameras, are they all blind? Suddenly, a car stopped in front of the crowd and my parents got out of the car. The next second, my father kicked Talai and made her fall to the ground. That bastard. Because of a fake bitch, he dared to harm his own sister 5 times 7 times. I held my parents and looked at them a little surprised. Mom and Dad, aren't you going to meet a business partner today? Why are you here? My mother hugged me tightly, her eyes filled with pain. Han Han, how could business be more important than me? You're late and I'm being wronged. My nose was stinging, I tried to hold back my tears. The driver whispered that someone was live streaming the incident, and my parents' partner was watching, so he immediately showed his phone to my parents. After just one look, my parents saw that I was being bullied, apologized to their partner, and rushed to the car to come here. Soon after, several police cars arrived. They had received a report that someone was spreading false rumors and disturbing public order. My father stepped forward and stood in front of me. These people have attacked my daughter's body and reputation, and without any clear evidence, they dare to defame her name. Our corporation will pursue this to the end. I will have our lawyers work with you at the police station. As soon as the sentence was said, the whole group panicked. CEO, this is a misunderstanding. My daughter just finished her exam. If she gets caught in the case, her whole life is over. Seeing my father's cold face, they turned to me and begged me. Han, I'm sorry we didn't distinguish right from wrong. Vuan, we admit our mistake. I sighed and looked at my dad. Dad, those who plotted to defame me need to be dealt with. The rest are just a bunch of snot. My dad nodded. This time let it go. But remember, next time when you don't know the truth, don't rush to follow the crowd. The brain is for thinking, not for listening to others and nodding. At this moment, the police were about to take Luang Han away. Talai suddenly rushed forward and blocked her way. Dad, Mom, don't sue Han Han. If you do that, you'll ruin her life. My mother walked forward, stared at Luang Han for a few seconds, then held Talai's hand and turned her away. You are afraid of ruining this little girl's life. What about when you helped your sister get cursed and beaten by a bunch of people? Did you think about your sister at that time? Chapter 7. If today you still stubbornly defend this little girl to the end, from now on you are no longer my son. From now on we will cut off all ties. I don't need a cold-blooded son like you. Talai looked at her parents in disbelief. His eyes gradually turned hateful, and then he turned to stare at me. Han, you were the one who told my parents to cut ties with me, right? You're so cruel. It's right that no one likes you. When you fell into the river, I shouldn't have saved you. You'd better die. Having said that, Talai turned to look at her parents. Mom and Dad, because of a little girl like her, you two want to kill me. Don't forget that you are the flesh and blood of the Ta family. When your parents are old and weak, you will still need to take care of the incense. If you chase them away when they die, no one will come to claim their bodies. After hearing this, my mother was so angry that she almost collapsed. Su Li, you dare to say such unfilial words? After so many years of raising you, your parents have raised you, and in the end you have raised this kind of person? Suli snorted coldly, her face showing no remorse. Did I say something wrong? The family's assets have always been inherited by men. Without me, my family would fall into the hands of outsiders. Those two were brainwashed by that girl. My father didn't bother to say another word. Put me and Mom in the car. Han, take care of Mom. Don't let that bastard make Mom faint from anger. I nodded and closed the car door. My mother hugged me tightly and cried. Han, it was my fault. I should never have adopted that blind thing in the first place. I thought that if I just taught it properly it would turn out fine. I never expected that its cunning nature would never change. I hugged my mother tightly and gently comforted her. Mom, it's not your fault. Actually, Talai is not my real brother. He was the child my parents adopted. At that time they thought that there was only one daughter in the family like me, growing up without any friends to play with, easy to be bullied. But my father could not bear to let my mother suffer more pain, so he decided to adopt a child. Talai was someone my family knew from the orphanage. However, after investigating, my parents discovered that his biological parents had committed crimes and were in prison, so they gave up the idea of adopting him. But one day while I was playing outside the orphanage, I accidentally fell into the river. Because of that, my parents thought he was a kind person, so they decided to adopt him and told him that he was my brother. Because he lost his memory because he saved me, they brought him back to live with them like real relatives. Talai happily hugged my parents like real relatives. For more than 10 years after that, Talai always showed himself to be a caring older brother, loved and satisfied by my parents. But since Luong Han appeared, everything changed. Talai and Zhang gradually treated me coldly and distantly, increasingly favoring Luong Han. She kept badmouthing me, fabricating lies and blaming me for everything. That gradually made me develop an inferiority complex, always thinking that I was the one who was wrong. Only when I died did I realize that they were nothing more than wolves in human skin. I held my mother's hand and said calmly, I want to cancel my engagement with Zhang Tuesday. My mother's eyes lit up immediately, and my father quickly nodded in agreement. Han, I've long seen that Zhang Tu is not worthy of you. His heart was not with me and he almost hurt me. Now that I see it for myself, I am so happy. I put my head in my mother's arms. A few minutes later my father walked in. It was all done. There was nothing more for us to worry about. Han finished the exam. Where do you want to go now? Chapter 8. I thought for a moment, then replied, I want to go to Hainan. My parents happily agreed right away. That night when I had time to rest, I had time to go online. As soon as he turned on his phone, he saw the official account of the Su group posting a notice. Officially cutting ties with Suli, canceling the engagement with Zhang Zi, cutting off all cooperation with the Zhang family, and also ceasing cooperation with all companies related to Zhang Group. This notice was no different from a direct slap in the face to Zhang Group. I glanced at my phone and saw that Zhang Zi had missed more than 90 calls, the first time he had called me that many times. Without hesitation, I blocked the number. Continuing to scroll down, I saw posts from the Department of Education and the police station. In the recent exam, no one cheated. The camera in my exam room was made public for everyone to see. The police station announced that Luong Han was sentenced to 1 year in prison for slander, disturbing the order of the exam and damaging the honor of others. Seeing this, I finally breathed a sigh of relief. The pressure in my heart seemed to be relieved. The next morning when I went out to buy things, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my head. When I woke up again, I found myself tied to the railway lines. I was writhing in agony when I was kicked hard. Su Han, you have driven us to the brink of death. Don't expect to live in peace. I looked up and saw Su Li and Zhang Xi. I immediately panicked. What were they going to do? Murder was against the law. Talai, if anything happens to me, my parents will not forgive you. Talai, please slap me. Tahan, it's because you're too heartless. My parents cut ties with me, everyone looked down on me. Some even laughed at me, treating me like a dog. Zhang Tu's eyes were filled with hatred. Because of you, the Zhang family almost went bankrupt overnight, losing hundreds of billions in contracts. Yesterday, my parents beat me almost to death and forced me to come beg you for forgiveness. Why do you always act so high and mighty, looking down on others with half an eye? Talai gasped and continued. Tahan, after you die, my parents will definitely regret taking me back. At that time, my entire family will be mine. I laughed coldly. Funny, even without me, the company will never belong to you. The next second, the sound of a train rang out from afar. Su Lai started laughing crazily. Really? Then why don't we see what happens in the future? Oh no, you won't get the chance to see that day anymore. Goodbye, my dear sister. I stopped to look at him. Really? Suddenly a few police cars rushed over, black flashing brightly. A group of police quickly rushed down, restrained Su Li and Jiang Xi from the line and untied them. Han, are you okay? I shook my head, still shaking a little. Only then did Su Li truly panic. He knelt down in front of my mother, begging Mom and Dad, I was wrong. It was just a moment of confusion, the devil made me do it. My mother hugged me tightly, her eyes cold as she looked at him. I don't have a son like you. You are not their family either. But you dare to kill my daughter, I will definitely not let it go. I was taken home. The family doctor came to check carefully many times and reported. Su Li and Jiang Xi were sentenced to 7 years in prison for attempted murder. I turned off my phone, then took out the acceptance letter from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology MIT from the drawer. I laughed. My life is long. After experiencing rebirth from the abyss, I will live without regrets, move forward. Nothing can stop me. That's all for the story. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more great stories. Goodbye and see you again.